I'm just curious. The SBA deal, does that take longer than a regular closing?
Yeah, definitely. Christian, I don't know if you're on the call, but if you wanna,
Yeah, it was definitely a lot longer. They do a lot of due diligence on both sides. We're dealing with a bank though. They want to be as low risk as possible. So they're going to make sure that the buyer is a strong buyer with experience. They're going to make sure that the business actually cash flows and well enough to cover the debt service of the loan. It took all in all probably about 6 months. It was a great deal though. I mean, the buyer came in, we always make, jokes about the buyers that come in and say, hey, I want to, I have 10% of the purchase price for an SBA loan. It's kind of like an ongoing joke with brokers because a lot of times, with businesses in the Northeast, they're heavy on the cash. So for like laundromats and any type of restaurants in the Northeast, they don't really, a lot of the revenue or anything doesn't really translate to things like tax returns and P&L. So, for an SBA to look at that, very hard for them to fund it. However, for this deal, I looked at the financials and they looked very, very solid. It looked like the seller was putting everything through the books. They showed a pretty good profit on the tax returns. So, I took it to the lender and the lender told me, hey, I think we can get this done. So, after the entire process, it was a lengthy process, just because there was a lot of people involved. We have the bank, we have the loan officer, we have the seller, the buyer, and then myself with, multiple attorneys as well. So I think the process and the length of time attributes to the amount of people involved. But at the end of the day, we got it done, and it was a referral to the bank. So another cool thing about it is if you refer a deal to the SBA bank that's lending it, they give you back a point on the deal. Just to keep that in mind, I can share that contact with everyone if they'd like to as well.
Hey, were you happy with on the SBA? Because that's one of the hardest part is finding a good broker to get all the stuff.
So the broker himself was very good. The bank wasn't the best, but the broker just switched banks to a very good bank. They sent me their process and it's a lot, quicker and smoother. But the actual bank that we used, I wouldn't recommend. They actually, the last day that they were supposed to fund the deal, the guy from the bank, one of the supervisors, he just quote unquote forgot to send out the wires, and it delayed us like a whole 3 days on the closing. So that very, upsetting part of it. But again, the broker was very responsive. He was on top of it. Just the actual bank that we used wasn't the best.
but you're saying that guy moved bank?
Yeah, he moved bank to for that exact reason. He said that he's been having a lot of trouble with them. He's been doing it for years. And he was at that bank to kind of kickstart their SBA section. And he said that they were just starting. It was just too much. It's too much of a learning curve for him to handle. And he was losing a couple deals. So he switched banks to someone that does a lot of SBA deals, and they're a lot quicker on the process. I think that's going to be, I'm going to try him again for another deal that I'm working on. But the actual bank itself that we used wasn't the best. The broker's good.
Thank you for that, Christian.